Welcome back to the Wolf Cave. It is I, the Bitter Wolf, presenting to you with spokeshuman Isaiah Swanson, talking to Karla Carter. They're going to be talking about JODI, a horror movie, a killer comedy about rock and roll, sapphic love, and torture.
And we're also going to talk about some of the other work that you've done. And we're going to be playing a game of Jeopardy.
Ooh, okay. I'll take Studio Origins for 100, please.
Studio Origins for 100. Can you read that? Or
I don't have my glasses on because it was reflecting the light weird.
Okay, I'll read it to you. This adjective is used to describe the titular cowboy in Karla Carter's production company.
We are the Braless Cowboys, baby.
Oh, yes.
No bras, no masters.
Wait, we have to check though, because that might not be right. We have to reveal the answer. Braless, you got, you were wrong. You were wrong. You didn't say what is.
Oh, okay. No, that's fair. Okay. What is Braless?
Yes, yes. Okay, you got it. Good job.
Okay, great.
All right. So we have your score down here.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so Braless, when did you start Braless? Why did you start Braless?
Braless Cowboy, the combination of the words is meant to make you go, what? Like it's purposefully an unusual combination of words. And it at its core it's a cry of freedom, right? Both the Braless, which I've been for many, many years now, and both cowboys, like they operate outside of societal norms. They don't really care what your rules are. They truly don't really care what you think about them. And all in the name of doing things the way that you want to do it. And also the combination of words, Braless Cowboy, like it's a little bit queer, it's a little bit perverted, and it's just a little strange, which is very, very much the brand that we're trying to present to the world. I've also found in the very short time that we've been on social media, people can get a little like, sometimes people get a little like, ooh, about it, which I find interesting because it's not even, it's not even about one's body. It's not nudity. It's not explicit. It's simply the lack of an undergarment. But it can make people feel a little like this. But I also think that's a great litmus test. Like if you don't if you can't take the name Braless Cowboy, you're not going to hang well during our movies, which are a little bit queer, a little bit perverted, very femme, and very unconcerned with whether you like it or not.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah,
that's beautiful. That's why one of the reasons I loved it. And I was like, perverted, queer. Yes, count me in.
Yeah, exactly.
That's great.
And me and the crew, we call ourselves the Braless Cowboy Brigade. So.
Oh, beautiful. The Braless Cowboy Brigade. Yeah, I love that. The name is so catchy, and it reels you in immediately because it's like, whoa, that's an awesome name. It's a really awesome name. And so it does. It lassos you in, I guess, like a cowboy there. Okay. Well, do you want to pick another category?
Let's stick with Studio Origins for 200.
Okay, Studio Origins for 200. They're gonna get really hard now.
Okay.
This Midwest city is the home of Braless Cowboy Film Productions.
What is beautiful Indianapolis, Indiana?
What is it? Yes. So how does Indianapolis play a role in your life?
Well, I've lived here most of my adult life, here and there taking some sojourns to other places to do other things. Before JODI, which I started pre-production on a little over a year ago, last summer, I came back to Indianapolis to make the movie, right? JODI was living this life of, I was pitching it to, producers and studios, and, it would always get in the door because it's odd and interesting, but then ultimately wouldn't be bought because it's odd and interesting. The feedback often be like, does it have to be all women? Do the two leads have to be lesbians? Does it, that sort of stuff. So when I decided that it's something I could make on my own, I have other feature scripts in the hopper that, they need more funding. But a big part of JODI is that it is this love letter to the east side of Indianapolis, which is, lower middle class, lower class, kind of living, which we love, some of the best people, most fascinating artists, some of the coolest culture of the city is here on the east side. So it didn't necessitate a ton of money if I came here to do it. It doesn't. And I also knew from many years of living in Indianapolis, I just had a lot of like trust and goodwill built up here. And I knew that I could come home and ask for help. And everyone has showed up. It's like we haven't paid for a single location. And we're using some pretty big locations, one of which is the Vogue, which is a huge iconic music venue here in town. Black Circle Music, they're letting us use some space. The movie has an original soundtrack because there's a band in the movie. We also have an original score because I knew that I could come back to Indianapolis and call up my musician friends, and many years of going to their shows and paying cover when I didn't have to, they would return the favor. And also in smaller ways, like gets down to costuming. It's a cast of 12 people if you count my cameo and the dog, but 10
Right.
10 actors otherwise. It's a lot of shirts to put on, a lot of backs. So,
Yep.
People started donating old band t-shirts from local bands in Indianapolis, or just, all of this help. Hoosiers are helpful. There's a common term called Hoosier hospitality. So between that Midwestern almost pathological need to like, oh, I'll help. Let me help. Can I help you? Taking that on, accepting that help from the years of living here, I knew I could pull it off here. And so far it's working.
Oh, yeah. That's fantastic.
Yeah,
I love the community aspect.
Yeah, Indianapolis is a underrated, a very cool place. I've been saying it for years. Like, Portland ain't weird no more. Austin ain't weird no more. If you want to see like weird, subversive, queer, very, of the resistance art, you got to go to the Midwest, man. You got to go to Indianapolis. You need to go to Dayton, Ohio.
Okay.
Go to
Beautiful.
Hot Springs, Arkansas. There's all of these really cool towns in the Midwest, like kind of pushing south, that are making really, really neat stuff. You don't have to be postal anymore to find odd and interesting art being made.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. And I love that message too. And that's part of why I am mostly just talking to indie horror filmmakers on here, because it's like that, to me, that's where the real innovation is. So it's not only building the community, but it's also like doing brand new things. That's much more exciting than what's going on in the mainstream. And there's a lot of stuff I'm okay with in the mainstream that's entertaining, but the stuff I really get excited about is stuff like this, and I love that I'm able to talk to you and you're able to tell people why it's important to watch this. So, okay. What's next? 300?
Well, yeah, why not? Let's finish it out.
All right. Round it out with Studio Origins. Oh, wait, I forgot to reveal the answer last time. Yes, okay. You got it right. Okay, for 300, this is the tagline of the Braless Cowboy Corporation.
You kind of might have me caught here. Do we have a tagline? Do you know of a tagline for the? I mean, obviously I have taglines for the, all my scripts and for the movie.
There's the tagline.
There is a tagline. Well, today I posted my alter ego, Rod Dinky. He's the lead anchor over at WVR News, which is the news station in JODI. So today I posted Braless Cowboy, bringing you unfettered big naturals since 1987.
There you go.
Final answer. Is that it?
That's it. You got it. I think. Wait, we got to check. Yes.
Yeah, I guess that's our tagline.
No. That was funny.
Yeah,
you cracked me up with that today.
We're all having some confusing feelings about Rod Dinky. Like, what a man. you know.
So where did Rod Dinky? Where did he come from?
Um, so, well, you know, there's a newscaster in JODI, and then, you know, start making it myself. You know, I pay people honestly like a negligible amount of money to help me on this film because it's out of pocket. We have done some crowdfunding. So the newscaster being a mostly unseen entity, I love a screen within a screen in a movie. I'm a big sucker. I love a news report that gives you exposition. I love a Easter egg playing on the TV in the background. A screen within a screen,
Yeah.
big fan of. So it started with like, okay, I'll just be the newscaster. It's one less person to keep track of, one less person to pay. I love a director cameo, right?
Yeah.
And then I bought a mustache, and it really got away from me, man. It's he's my new alter ego. I actually used to do this silly little voice for one of my best friends, Rachel Schwabach. She's our art director, prop master, currently acting as assistant director.
Yeah.
Like, we're all doing so many jobs, right? But her art is primarily nude photography. We call her like the Midwest smut peddler. She's done so much good for so many people, especially folks like grow up in the Midwest, and a lot of people are kind of overcoming religious and church trauma, or like, you know, kind of find their own lane and traction with their own sexuality or like their bodies and feeling comfortable. And dude, she's helped so many people by she just has this wonderful energy, right? And she's like big eyeballs, big boobs, excited to see you, and then all of a sudden you're excited about your body. And so she primarily worked in like nude art. And I used to do this little character called the Titty Man, just as like a stupid thing you do with your friends. Be like, hey, Titty Man, I deal in titties. Big titties, little titties, you know, titties that stand up on their own, titties that hang down real low. So I think Titty Man and Rod Dinky probably used to hang out together, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
one
great.
of them has sold cocaine to Waylon Jennings at some point. You know? I don't know.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, he's my little drag character that we're all obsessed with now. There will be more Rod Dinky content to come, I promise.
I look forward to that. That's amazing. And I think it's also a really great way to promote the movie and get people interested in it, and to show your sense of humor as well. Because you show a lot of different sides to yourself on the Instagram. Do you want to talk about the Instagram and what you post on there a little bit?
Oh, sure. I mean, I look forward to being in post-production and being able to give the Instagram a little more attention. Right now, I just run it myself, so it's a little bit of a mishigas of, you know, behind the scenes footage, hyping up our, you know, fellow folks in the horror community. And now, like I said, there's going to be some pretty exclusive Rod Dinky content coming at you. Our crowdfunding recently was fully funded, which is bananas, which is just, it got funded so
it's amazing.
late, but it's still open for a couple of weeks. So we are going to be posting to encourage people, like, still do the $10 donation. That way you can get on the close friends list and see some more exclusive behind the scenes footage, stuff that we curate a little bit more specifically for Instagram. And once the movie moves into post, you know, sneak peeking little clips here and there of the footage before we release it. But yeah, right now it is that Instagram is doing its best, and I'm pretty happy with it.
Yeah, I think it's great. And I like that you highlighted the community aspect in Indianapolis, but also on Instagram too, because it just shows how you can have a lot of different resources whenever you're making a movie. And a lot of people think of social media and they associate it with stress inducing things, but there can be good, positive community interactions there. And it's a great way to get the word out about your movie too. And part of the best way to do it is by also promoting other voices as you do, you know, but it's a genuine connection, and that's one of the best things about it. So we're glad that you are a part of it now with JODI, especially, and with Braless Cowboy Productions. And I don't want to give away too much for some of these other categories. So, okay, I'll let you go ahead and pick the next one.
Okay. Well, let's go JODI 100.
JODI 100. Okay. This is the tagline for the studio's feature film, JODI.
You'll love her so much, it just might kill you. It is a killer comedy about rock and roll, sapphic love, and torture. I stand by, I'm a comedy writer. I write comedies wherein awful things happen, where terrible, violent, awful things happen, landing us in, in the horror world, right? And there's also other aspects to the movie where we do lean into horror. I mentioned an original score earlier. That's by an artist called Dead here in Indianapolis. And he is very John Carpenter, very John Harrison, very very Day of the Dead, very that synthetic, that synthesizer, kind of score. But if you were to change that music to Benny Hill kind of like dee 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 dee, it would still fit. The movie would largely the spirit of the movie would still largely stay the same.
That's good.
We wanted to put comedy out there, kind of at the front of that. And then, like I said, the rock and roll aspect, it's not only the original soundtrack with a local band led by Jessie Phelps, who plays our co-star TJ. Her band's TJ and the Gold Stars. Gold Stars is in Gold Star Lesbians. So this super hot, all chick rock and roll band. In real life, they're called Moxie, Moxxie, here in Indianapolis. So there's that. But in the film, we also get to recreate 3 of my favorite music videos from the 80s. There was this era.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there was this era of music video back in the day where they were all kind of weird short films, and we recreate them as kind of, shitty East Side versions of these big glamorous music videos. First of which is Hot for Teacher by Van Halen. Second is Legs by ZZ Top. And the third one is the patron saint, queen mother of hot video babes, Tawny Katane, and Here I Go Again on My Own. We have our own version of these videos throughout the movie. So it's for rock and roll lovers, right? Horror, the amazing. Horror folks are going to show up because horror folks love a horror comedy. Horror folks are loyal people. But we also have this opportunity to give it to the metalheads and the punkards and the folks that are going to remember these videos, the guys that used to have, me included, a poster of Tawny Katane, hanging above their bed, right? So it's why we wanted to highlight that, and sapphic love, just so everyone knows we're gay.
Yes, I love the hook on this. I love the tagline. I love all of it. I think it's brilliant, and I think it's going to do very well. And I hope that you go on all of these podcasts and talk to everyone. And I'll give you lots of people to talk to as well. Oh, we're on. Oh, I forgot to do correct here on the thing. 200.
Sure, let's do it.
I think you already got some of these points technically, but that's okay. We'll talk about it again. I love some of the because Tawny Katane. I want to talk about. Okay. This vehicle plays a central role in a horror movie featuring Jamie Lee Curtis, as well as the upcoming horror movie JODI.
Are you referring to the exercise jazzercise aspect of it?
This might be a deeper cut. No, I'm not talking about it.
Okay.
This is a literal vehicle. It's referenced in your movie.
I don't know. You got me.
Let me think. It's a train.
Oh God. Oh, duh. Okay. Yeah, there's a train crash in JODI. Come on.
I was like, did I hallucinate that?
I was like, TJ drives a truck. I don't know. And I was picturing. What was I picturing Jamie Lee Curtis in with the thong leotard?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I can't remember what that movie was. I know what you're talking about.
Saturday Night Fever.
I can't remember if she was in that or not. I can picture the scene, but I can't think of the movie. But the other movie with Jamie Lee Curtis was Terror Train or something like that. But it's like a serial killer on the train, and David Copperfield is there performing magic. And you think it's him as the serial killer, but he gets killed, so it's not him.
So funny story about the train. So the train, it's plot device, right? Because so many movies in the 80s, there was ubiquitous toxic waste. Toxic waste is going to get you. So that's what's happened to JODI, right? There was a train crash, groundwater's poison. Her and the rest of, the neighborhood that she lives in is kind of, brains are turned into Swiss cheese a little bit, leading to her losing her impulse control, kidnapping these dudes, torturing them, blah, blah, blah. I would say about 6 months ago or so, just a couple of miles away from here, there was a train crash. And it's also like, trains are like a very, we're Indianapolis. I think the city has a tagline, it's like Crossroads of America. You're always getting caught by a train, freight trains especially, and there's no schedule to freight trains. It's all anarchy. You can't be in and around Indiana without trains constantly, going by your house, making you late for work. The sounds of them are kind of always buzzing in the background, right?
Oh, okay.
About 6 months ago on the east side of Indianapolis, there was a dang train that derailed and tipped over. It was only holding cornstarch, thankfully, made the water weird for a little bit. But yeah, me and the whole team were just kind of like,
wait a second. Like,
yeah.
Did you see the new Final Destination movie by any chance?
I have it marked on my HBO over there. I'm behind in general on,
you're making stuff. I understand.
Exactly. I'm behind in general on movie watching. I've got it marked for when I have the brain space. Is there a train crash?
Yeah, there's a train crash in it. So I was like, don't get freaked out if you watch that. And then the train crash happens, and then it's like it's all connected somehow.
I can't believe I got one wrong. How embarrassing. Okay, let's
No, it's okay.
Move on.
I'll cut it out.
You don't have
I can cut out anything. I have the power.
Do not cut it out. No.
Okay.
All right. Hit me.
Tawny Katane,
Mm-hmm.
Lisa from Weird Science, and Baby Firefly.
What is women that inspired JODI?
Yes, and you get extra points for saying what is this time. Okay.
Yay.
Real and fictional women who inspired JODI.
I mean, those are all, and there, there's people that you wouldn't know, people in my personal life. She's she's an amalgamation of a lot of beautiful and wild women that I know. And yeah, Tawny Katane, obviously, from the music videos, already kind of talked about her. And Baby Firefly, Rob Zombie in general, I'm a huge fan of Rob Zombie movies. He's this undeniable aesthetic that no one else, you immediately know it's him. No one else can duplicate it. But more than that, my thing with Rob Zombie, specifically with the Firefly trilogy, he does this magic trick where he makes you root for the worst people possible, right?
Right.
The Firefly family, there's no redeeming qualities other than they're like kind of cool. They got to dress cool, but you see them do horrible things. You see them assault women. They take a guy's face off. They take somebody's dad's face and wears it on their face. Awful shit.
Right.
But by the time you get to the third movie in the trilogy, 3 from Hell, you get toward the end of the movie. No spoilers on this 15-year-old movie or whatever. But you get to the end of the movie where the Firefly family is in peril, and every fiber of your body is like, no, get away, baby. Don't hurt us. And you have watched these people for 3 movies do the worst shit you could possibly imagine. And I've heard him kind of speak on this in interviews. As long as somebody's got style, they can kind of get away with anything in a movie, right? And I'm very intrigued by that idea, specifically with women. Because men get to be terrible in movies all the time, and they're iconic, right?
Right.
Scarface. How many Scarface T-shirts are there? That guy's a piece of shit.
Right.
You know how many Patrick Bateman references are made? You know, and that guy's
Yeah.
awful. And I want to create movies where women are afforded that same luxury. She doesn't have a ton of redeeming qualities. She's nuts and she's doing bad things, but you love her anyway.
Oh, I love that category.
But you love her
film.
anyway. You know, so that's where Baby
Yeah.
Firefly comes through, where it's like, imagine the most violent, horrible person possible, but like she's kind of cunty. You know, you kind of want to hang out with her.
Right.
That's those are the characters I strive to write,
Yeah.
and I have Uncle Zombie to kind of guide me on that.
Oh, that's so good.
Actually,
I
wearing.
love
Hey,
it.
look what I'm wearing. Here she is.
Oh, you are. I didn't even
There
know.
she is. I didn't even realize. There you go. Free
Oh,
baby.
that's great.
Yeah.
That's so good. No, I know. House of a Thousand Corpses is very deep in my horror soul because it was like I discovered it at a formative time, which was a few years after it came out, and it was just like nothing I'd ever seen before.
Yeah.
But I loved it, and I didn't know why, and that made it so exciting at the time. And ever since then, I discovered like the reasons why that was the case. And it was like things to do with themes he's exploring and aesthetic, because of course it's like you can't deny that he's got style, like you were talking about, you know.
And the turn that it takes, you know, like it's this wild, you know, all the Captain Spaulding stuff and the ride and like all of this, like, you know, and like you get to the house and you get into the story and you almost kind of forget and you get right at the end of that third act and you're like, oh shit, Dr. Satan. Ah,
Yeah.
You know, that like you kind of forgot that this whole time we've been looking for Dr. Satan and like, well, you found it. It's brilliant.
Right.
He's brilliant. I know that, you know, there's people got big opinions on Rob Zombie, but I just adore him. I think he's great.
Yeah, and he has so much love for the art of filmmaking and
Yes.
for the history of it as well. You know, even with his monsters, no matter what people's opinion on that is, you know, he had so much love for that franchise, and he treated it with so much love as well.
I loved it because I loved the Munsters as a kid, and I was stoked because he answered these like kind of unasked questions, like how the fuck did the Munsters end up where they are? How did Herman end up having a day job?
Yeah.
In this house, you know? And I felt like he crafted this prequel that brought us to Mockingbird Lane, and I thought it was great. I'm also like, some people are an easy laugh. Like I'm an easy, like when it comes to horror, like I'm easy. I'm so easy to impress. I love it all so much. You gotta fuck up pretty bad for me to be like, it wasn't a good movie. You know? So
I loved Dan Roebuck in that movie who played Grandpa Munster. I thought he nailed that character.
yes, very much so. Yes.
I love Dan Roebuck. I grew up with him too. Oh, I mean, I didn't grow up with him. You know what I mean? Okay. Oh, let's go back to the game. Behind the scenes. You want to do that?
Sure. Why not?
Okay. Let's see. Behind the scenes. Oh, we sort of touched on some of these, but we'll talk about them again. But we haven't really talked about this one. So this person plays the lead role of Jodie in the film.
Oh, the elusive Peach. Small p, lowercase p, no last name. Peach. Peach is an enigma. We're all obsessed with them. No social media. Only kind of adds to the Jodie mystery lore of it all. Because Jodie, the movie takes place now. You know, it's 2025, 2026 or whatever. And Jodie's the only person who's kind of stuck in 1987, right? So no cell phone. She, you know, uses a landline, uses Polaroid cameras. Everything's analog in Jodie's world. So our real life Jodie being Peach, not using social media is like good. Everyone just kind of wonder where this person is and you know who they are. But in real life, Peach comes from musical theater. This is their first time doing any film, and I brought them on. They came to me like through a friend of a friend of a friend kind of thing, and it was immediate. They came over to me. I just like hit them up and I'm like, hey, why don't you come over to my house and just talk? You know, we'll call it It's not even an audition. Let's see if we like each other. And even the way they got out of their car and their hair bouncing, and then they come up on the porch immediately, they're talking about, holy shit, therapy today was wild. I've never met this person before. And they're like, just kind of launching into like these JODI-isms. And my first time meeting them, I was so like, I couldn't close my mouth because they were literally saying things to me that were lines in the movie. There's a little running gag through the movie that JODI only really eats donuts. Peach, I have known them for over a year now. There's days where that bitch only eats donuts. Like there were all these like really interesting things that synced up with them to the real life, their real life to the life of the character. And they're just a powerhouse. They're also trained in gymnastics, which comes in handy.
Oh, wow.
If you remember Tawny Katane, and Here I Go Again, does some front walkovers. He was a highly dancer. So to have like a trained gymnast that's so fun as a director to be like, well, what can we do with that?
That's great.
But yes, Peach, musical theater and Dungeons and Dragons nerd, enigma, non-binary, weird little creature that I'm so thrilled that like we're friends and collaborators now. They've also throughout the course of pre-production, which like I mentioned lasted over a year, they've put so much work and so much heart and just so much help into the movie. Like they've worked their way up. They're also going to be credited as an executive producer because they've invested their own money into the movie, and even small stuff when it comes up where it's like, what would make that stunt easier if we had a mini trampoline, and then Pete shows up the next day with a mini trampoline, stuff like that. So not just talent, but this deep dedication to, you're right. We do need more femme, queer, unhinged art in the world.
Yes, absolutely.
And they're just incredible. And you will never find them online. So good for them.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
That's great for them. I think it's really nice to see characters and actors portray. Is JODI a non-binary character or
no? We she her. And
okay.
I mean, Peach. Some folks like in our crew at first were like, I go back and forth between calling Peach JODI and Peach and using they them and she her. Peach doesn't really. Peach is unconcerned or unfettered by pronouns. They're just a weird little creature, man. So JODI is very she her, and some days Peach is too, right?
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So that's, and again, this just goes into what I was going to say too, which is, that's like, what were we talking about? Innovation in horror, innovation in indie filmmaking. And I think that putting voices at the very forefront who are never portrayed in any sort of light at all in movies. And if they are, they're going to be horribly stereotyped. But to put them at the very forefront and then to give them, let actors portray them who are also non-binary, who are queer in some way, I think is really important. And I've talked to several filmmakers who are doing it, but it's still not that common in indie filmmaking. So thank you for doing what you're doing.
Yeah, it was, I don't know, maybe a week or two ago, we did our first scene where you see the two leads kiss, right? And there's not a ton of intimacy. There's barely any intimacy in the script, which I did on purpose. But even before we filmed that kiss, we even talked about like, there's nothing worse than like that medium close up. It's like a Paul Thomas Anderson movie where two girls are kissing, and it's like that like very gratuitous girl kissing where it's like their lips are pulling on each other. You know what I mean? I'm like, we're not doing that because that ain't how girls kiss each other. In the scene, it's TJ's stopping by after work. Like she works night shift. So she comes over to JODI's house in the morning. How do you kiss somebody when they come, your partner, when they come over? That's it,
Yeah.
And to Jesse Phelps also. I mean, they're both the leads are gay as hell. Jesse Phelps married to a woman happily. Peach is divorced from a woman happily. So to have real queer people, real sapphics, getting to just be not gay in any sort of like, hey everybody, watch this kind of way. It's like, some people are just gay, and it's it deserves to be represented without Paul Thomas Anderson girl kissing.
Yeah,
I don't know why I'm
that.
throwing him under the bus. There's
That's
lots
okay.
of people who do it. You know what I mean.
He's never gonna see this. No, oh shit! Sorry, PT, whatever. Oh, we were talking. Okay. Oh, I like what you were saying about having queer characters also just existing, and not drawing the Paul Thomas Anderson attention to it to keep throwing him under the bus throughout the rest of this conversation. So yeah, but I've talked to other filmmakers who are doing that too. I think especially of Joshua R. Pangborn of Sidekick Productions in New York, and his company.
I started following him.
You know who I'm talking about? He's amazing, and it's all about queer, fat, positive narratives and characters and the creators themselves. So it's really great stuff. And their thing is we want to push sex to the very forefront, which is an awesome approach because it's something that you don't see, period.
Yeah.
And they're literally the only people who are doing it. And that's the very definition of innovation. And so I think you're doing that as well with JODI and with, I can't say it yet, but we'll talk about it in a minute. Okay. Behind the scenes.
Sure, for 200, please.
All right. This person serves as the art director for JODI. Who could that be?
Well, we already talked about her a little bit, but I'll talk about her all day. Rachel Schwabach, affectionately referred to as Schweebs. This is Yulia. She's evil.
Oh, hey.
She'll kill you. I'm the only person she's nice to. And she's trying
I've almost been killed by a cat before, so I get it. Yeah.
Trying to get our entrail.
Yes.
Rachel Schwabach, outstanding photographer, the smut queen of the Midwest, body positive advocate, has helped so many people in their journey with like their sexuality, with their bodies, with their art as well. I mean, she's for hire for all sorts of types of photography, but primarily it's femmes, women, queer people. And she occasionally does another feature film that I need more funding for. It's my baby. It's my most favorite movie in the world. I wrote it and I read it to myself all the time. That way I can just kind of watch it play in my head. Is based off of a photo set that she did. Usually every October she does like a horror themed series of vignettes, right? She kind of sets up a narrative story through photography. And this one was about these her initial idea. She's like, I want it to be Texas Chainsaw, but with linen napkins. So it's these very wealthy women that are cannibalizing these couple of dudes, which in short, was the script. And then it inspired me to write this whole script, which it will be my life's work getting that movie made with the budget that it deserves, based off of these horror series that she does every year. I don't know. She gets deleted off of Instagram all the time because they hate
yes, so stupid.
I think that's, if you go to her bio on Instagram, she said, and quite possibly the most deleted bitch on here. So I don't know what her Instagram is off the top of my head, but you can definitely find her as a collaborator through the Braless Cowboy Instagram. She's brilliant.
Yep.
Not only in her art, but in the way that she serves the community. And also, like, it's worth mentioning, serves community outside of art too. She's like very dedicated to mutual aid. She's always filling up food boxes and, making sure that people get sanitary products and food and shelter and, other things like that. Just a real treasure, a real Indianapolis sweetheart. Also listed as a producer on the movie because, similar to me, if Rachel Schwabach hits you up and it's like, hey, can we borrow, whatever, you're going to say yes to her. And she just, everybody knows who she is. She knows everybody and everybody loves her. And she's been invaluable throughout the process.
That's so cool. And I follow her on Instagram. I can't remember the handle right now, but we'll share it along with this. But yeah, I was like, she's amazing, and I love the work that she does on her Instagram, and I'd love to talk to her one day.
Do it. Yeah, she's a little horror freak too, man. She'll have a lot to say. Yeah.
That's so cool. Okay, let's go back to, what are we on? 300? Okay. I keep forgetting to reveal the answer, give you the score. Okay. This actor plays the character Frankie in JODI.
Oh my God, I'm so glad you asked. Wait right here. Look at this. Look at this. Introducing Frankenstein Jones.
Hey, Frankenstein Jones.
Hey, Frankie.
How are you doing, buddy?
This is my dog. Her name's Frankie. She's very talented. I just woke her up from a nap. And we have been training her in Trail that made a cameo earlier. It's her job in the movie to, I don't want to spoil anything, but this is her in Trail. And that's all I'm going to say.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. You can see she's
We'll see what happens with that.
Very obedient about it. But yeah, this is Frankie. We also have a kid in the movie. So why not on your first feature work with a child and a dog? Why not?
That's great. I meant to ask you about any other crew members that you want to shout out.
Our cast is also, a big chunk of it is made up of local stand-up comics. Gwen Sunkel, who last year won Indiana's Funniest Person. She plays one of our villains in the movie. John Findler, he's also a stand-up comic in town. He has a show called Mr. P's Neighborhood that he does at the White Rabbit Cabaret. He plays one of our male victims. He also his day job is working for this estate sale, like resale company. So a lot of these vintage props, he helped us resource. Again, Indianapolis pulling through for us, because to get like an old boom box, and we needed like boxes and boxes of VHS tapes as props. And that was stuff where he's like, oh yeah, dude, I got that in a storage unit somewhere. Again, everybody pulling double duty. Right now, I have this whole September. We filmed maybe about a third of the movie so far. We're on a little break until September, and then September is our condensed shooting schedule, where it's like 3 weeks of getting the rest of the movie. And for those 3 weeks, we have a bunch of volunteers lined up, of people that just want to be a part of it. There's also I almost forgot Kevin and Carly. Kevin, locally, he's a frame maker for lots of local artists. He makes the frames that your art goes in. And our friend Carly as well. She is just an amazing musician, artist, currently works at a screen printing shop, which came in handy for some of our TJ and the Gold Stars merch that we have to have for the movie. They've both been acting as our art department. So, we needed a stencil for the side of TJ's truck because she has her band logo on her truck door. That's the stuff that they take care of. Kevin's this incredible woodworker. So when we couldn't find a VHS shelf, he made it out of scrap wood in his shop. You know what I mean? And they have both, with another project that I did back in the spring, they showed up just as swings. Again, people that are like never made a movie, but Carly has an amazing ear because of being a musician. So on a day where we didn't have a boom operator, it's like, oh, Carly can do sound, and she did a phenomenal job at it. So it'd be a miss not to mention Kevin and Carly as well. Yes, what is ghoulish guesswork? I'm very excited about
ghoulish guesswork. Okay, let's go back to that, and we'll see. This was the first short film released by Braless Cowboy.
Ghoul! Aw, you put Ghoul on there. That's so nice. Ghoul. it was really, I wrote it specifically for my JODI people. I wrote it over like Christmas break, right? I wrote it specifically for the JODI crew because I wanted it to act as a scrimmage of sorts, right?
Yeah.
I think before we hit record, we were talking about like I'm a writer, right? And that keeps coming up often during this process. I think that I have a certain set of skills that are good for directing. I'm good at, navigating different personalities. I'm an organized person. I'm a good communicator. Which is basically all you got to do. You don't have I don't think it's a secret anymore. You don't have to know shit to be a director. You have to have a vision and you have to be able to communicate it. And that's really it. But the other aspect is kind of being like a public facing person, which isn't not my instinct as a writer. I want to be in a dark little room, being a goblin and playing pretend on my computer. You know what I mean?
Right.
But now I'm a director and a producer and a stunt coordinator and all of that, right?
Yeah.
So,
DP.
Exactly. And now I'm a DP. So it was an opportunity, and as I mentioned before, Peach, excellent musical theater actor. It's a little bit different when you have a camera looking at you. I remember Peach, the first time we did a lens test, they were like, it feels like there's a whole other person in the room, right? When you got the rig looking at you. And Jessie Phelps, who is a phenomenal actor. She is my Chris Christopherson. Chris Christopherson never had any acting lessons, and he always kind of played like the same dude in all of his movies, but he had wonderful range of emotions that he could access, right? So Jessie ain't never, up until GHOUL, she had never been in a school play. You know what I mean? So I orchestrated GHOUL. I wrote the characters to be kind of the opposite of who they're playing in JODI, right? Peach's character was very like distressed, very inward, very like scared, not this like tit forward, boisterous, confident, murderous person that JODI is. Jessie's character in GHOUL was a real meathead, a real dummy, just like, like really didn't like get a lot of stuff. Opposed to when she plays TJ, who is very grounded, intelligent, more like who Jessie is as a real person. But I wanted to write something that kind of made her feel like she was actually acting instead of just like saying TJ's words. And Gwen Sunkel was also in that movie. She's in JODI as well. But Gwen has a little bit more acting experience and is very much a character actor. She does this great show also in Indianapolis at the White Rabbit Cabaret. One of our, like, all of us have like this love, like a deep connection to that venue. We love it so much. But she does this great show there called Fake Authors. It's one of my favorite things in the world. And it's kind of like you're at a live recording of like an NPR radio show, but all of the authors are fake. So they come and read an excerpt from their new book, but it's all comedians making up these very exaggerated characters reading bullshit from their new book, right? So that's
awesome.
That's a monthly show, and it's also phenomenal. I mean, they get up there and they do between like 3 to 7 minutes. You're talking about 3,000 to 5,000 words every month with a whole new character that these comics are getting up and doing. That's wild, And Gwen's one. So Gwen played this the character in GHOUL was this doctor that specializes in the preternatural, the supernatural, and the heretical. Kind of like this Manhattan therapist inspired, ghoulish doctor, which is different than who she plays in JODI, but it's still very exaggerated characters with with really tight accents is something that she excels at. So GHOUL is really Gwen's movie, right? If there had to be a star.
Yeah, she was great in that movie.
She's great. She's so wonderful. And also, like it was my first go around with, I now feel pretty proficient with DaVinci Resolve Studio. That's an editing program that lots of us use. But I needed some practice, because I'm going to be editing JODI as well. So all of it was orchestrated as a scrimmage, like I said, and also like see how we all work together, for the actors to stretch their legs and for anything, you know, we messed up many things in the 3 days that it took us to shoot it, and we will never mess up those things ever again. And that was kind of the
Yeah.
point, you know, get that, just get that out of your system before we dive into the thing that we've all spent a year working on, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great strategy, and I think it's also really cool whenever filmmakers will work with the same people, the same collaborators, repeatedly, and then the cast, they'll try out wildly different characters between movies so that they can test out, you know, whether it's their whatever drives them to act. And I think that's really cool, and it also helps you all kind of grow together as a team, but also like in your artistic vision and everything. So I think that's really, I'm excited to see what comes next.
Thank you. I have
with the
another
crew.
short film, because I'm insane. I have another short film lined up for the end of the year. Once Jodi's a little bit more comfortably, not quite out of post, but it'll be, actually I haven't I think I can announce this. Oh, I haven't talked about it publicly yet. At the end of November, I'll be filming a short film that I wrote for an actress named Jessa Jupiter Flux. Also,
Oh yeah,
you know
love her.
Jessa.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Jessa's the best, man. Also an Indiana
She's
sweetheart.
amazing.
She's from Southern Indiana.
Oh, okay.
And when I posted the JODI, the first JODI trailer, she reached out to me and was just stoked that like there's a woman making movies, making horror movies in Indiana.
Damn.
And I didn't want to pass up her enthusiasm toward Braless Cowboy. I did not want to waste, and I didn't want to pass up
Right.
of maybe working with her. So in the middle of pre-production, I wrote a short film for her, which also has a couple of our local drag performers in it. Her co-star,
Oh, good. Yes.
yeah, her co-star is this great performer named Saint Pussifer.
Yeah.
Saint Pussifer is I think the children call it a biological drag queen. So assigned female at birth, also has a sort of female character. Does like femme, devil, Pussifer drag, right?
Yeah.
You can find Saint Pussifer with the Indie Drag Theater, who they're also a great company. They do drag spoofs of classic musicals. Right now, they're doing Clue. So it's Clue, but in drag.
I love it.
And then they'll stick to like the original like script and score of a lot of these stage productions, but then they'll insert like just a full-blown drag performance, like, you know, cut in a Lady Gaga song, you know, into the book of it. So yeah, Indie Drag Theater's great. So yeah, before the year is out, I'll have another. But by the time 2025 is over, I will have made 2 shorts and a feature, having never made any films before this. So.
Oh, really? I was going to ask you about that. That's amazing.
No, it's going great. It's everything's exactly as I planned.
Oh, good. Yes. Well, we're going to keep seeing more from you. I'm so excited about that. And there's so many other like things I want to talk to you about too. So I'll have to have you come back sometime. All right, ghoulish guesswork number 2. Which dead family member does our protagonist dream of eating at the beginning? Can you give that away? Is that okay?
Her dead mom. You only ever see the ghoul eating fruit, veggies, and you actually see them eating anything other than flesh. But if there's human food in front of them, it's like it's vegetarian, right?
And I think as you go through the journey, that movie is what, 14 minutes or something like that. But you definitely feel as if you go on a full journey. Now I can't remember the main character's name though.
Oh, it's never really said in the movie. We called her
okay. I did. Okay.
The ghoul.
The ghoul.
Yeah, you know, and when I was writing it, you know, obviously asking Peach, you know, how they felt about it at every step of the process. But you know, they pointed out that, you know, why do I feel like so many women are interested in cannibalism or a little bit obsessed with cannibalism? And, you know, we talked about it a lot, and there is some, I still haven't quite put my finger on it, but there's something about a lot of people consider a woman's body is only supposed to be for a few things. One of those things is
Right.
feeding people, right? So I do think that there's something like deep in our lizard brains where women are kind of fascinated and interested or curious about cannibalism because you are, depending on your life's choices, obviously, you are cannibalized, right? Babies
Yeah.
feeding on you is, not a sensation. Went out of my way to never have children, because
Right.
that's a horrifying thought to me. Have another human sucking the life force straight out
Oh
of your
God.
head.
Yeah.
That's
Jesus
terrifying.
Christ.
And there's so many horror movies that are sort of based around like the horror
Mhm.
show that it is to have a woman's body, or the violent act that is giving birth. Or if you think about it, having to breastfeed is kind of like getting cannibalized a little bit. So who's the most fucked up person you could eat? Your mom. You already have,
Yeah. That's
if you think about it, right?
that's
Uh,
right.
so that's where the mom
Jeez, that's
comes.
so good though. It's like, that's why I think it's such an exciting. Now I just learned it's your debut. Both of these are kind of your short film debut and your feature film debut.
Yes.
That's super exciting, and that it just has so much richness going on from the moment it starts. Because in short films, it can be really difficult to get all of that in there, but a lot of times it is an exercise as well. Okay. Well, let's go to our next one here. Oh, I wanted to shout out. Have you ever seen Auntie Lee's Meat Pies?
No. What a beautiful
I
string of
was,
words you just said.
yeah, I know. I love saying it. It's I want to recommend it to you because I think it's right up your alley, and yeah, it's about all those things that you're just talking about.
Please
I don't want
do.
to spoil anything. Except I will say who's in it. It's got Karen Black, who I adore. It has
Wow.
Michael Berryman, which is amazing, and it has Pat Morita as the sheriff.
Stop it. Stop it. Yes, send me. Yes, I want to
Yeah.
watch this immediately.
It's so good. Okay, I'll send
Nice.
it to you. What was the other thing I wanted to say? See, this is why you don't take notes like me, people. I have to make this public service announcement every couple of weeks, but I need to watch my own announcements. Don't take notes like this, people.
That's how I know you're a writer, though. That piece of paper you just showed me, I'm like, he's a real writer, folks. All right.
Okay, Jessa Flux, amazing.
Yeah.
I first discovered her in Murder Size,
Yeah.
AMP Productions, which I just fucking love that movie, and then I fell down the AMP Films rabbit hole, and I love all their movies, and I'm so excited for Only Fangs. But
Yeah.
Jessa, like, and then I've watched so many of her movies now because she just keeps popping up everywhere, and I
Yeah.
love it. I'm like, she just keeps getting better and better.
Dude, she's a work man. And her
Yeah.
ability at work is amazing. She showed me so much kindness. Like, like we're becoming Instagram friends, and obviously we're going to work together later this year. But, the way that she'll pop up at 3 a.m. with like, oh, here's a grant that I think that you would be great for,
Yeah,
like,
I love it.
supportive and like really tangible ways. But she doesn't have to be. She don't know me. She don't got to be nice to me. But she, like I said, was the first to reach out. Her ability, because I can kind of struggle with communications, staying in touch, like I kind of get focused on whatever my project or task is, and socializing and communications can kind of fall to the wayside. Jess is on top of that shit, man, and she's a force, and I just can't wait to see her on fucking HBO one day. Like she's out here hustling, and when she's not working, she's training and in classes and learning stunts and learning clowning, and I just cannot imagine what force it would take to stop Jessa Flux. I'm so stoked to work with her.
That's so exciting, and you get to be a part of that too. And I think the two of you together will be another unstoppable force. So I can't wait to see that. And let's go to our final. Wait,
Let's
is
do
this
it.
the last question?
Yep.
Okay, you got mom.
Mhm.
All right. I don't remember what the last question is. this is where people go. This is where people can donate to support indie horror films like JODI.
Yeah. So we've been using the platform Seed and Spark. Highly recommend them. I first came to them. Mark Duplass was partnering with them on this like TV show that he wanted to independently distribute. So their Seed and Spark, the crowdfunding platform, and they work in conjunction with this company called Kinema, which I haven't done anything with yet, but it's a private distribution platform. Because that's the thing, you do all of this work, you get all these people together, you get the money to do it, and then you got to figure out how to get it out into the world. And there's been there's this movement. Are you familiar with Dropout TV?
I don't think so.
Peach introduced me to it. They have a really popular show called Dimension 20, where it's like people playing Dungeons and Dragons. It's this network, a television network that's really only available on YouTube. That, you know, since they self-distribute, they like pay people super well. They pay people for their auditions. You know, they take care of their people.
Yeah, nice.
It's an artist's business model. And
beautiful.
So, you know, like with Dropout TV, with Kinema, there's this movement of, you know, I feel like traditional, obviously, like, you know, streaming screwed up so many things in the film industry. Like there's tons of podcasts about that. We don't need to talk about that, but there's, you know, there's this movement of like putting things out yourself, right? Seed and Spark has been outstanding. Like there's real people that, you know, are helping you kind of build your campaign and give feedback, and they have all these other resources. So that's where we went for crowdfunding. Like I mentioned earlier, got funded pretty quickly, which is phenomenal.
Yeah, it went great.
But the campaign stays open until August 21st. So we're still encouraging people, you know, if you have $10 to throw at it, please do. That way, you know, you can get on our close friends list. You can see exclusive behind the scenes footage. We can give you news before everyone else gets it. And every extra dollar is just going to go straight toward being able to pay people more. Like I mentioned, you know, I'm paying people, but it's by no means a life-changing amount of money. It's just enough so that if you take the day off work, you don't fall behind, you know, and in your finances. I just making sure I cover enough of that. So everything that we make over our goal, that's our whole stretch goal. Nothing else to it. Our stretch goal is paying people more money. So, yeah. So I highly, you know, if you're a filmmaker, and it's exclusive, I don't know if it's exclusively for filmmakers, Seed and Spark, but definitely the focus is on film, performances, podcasts, you know, stuff like that. And it's a really excellent platform. And a lot of platforms for crowdfunding are all or nothing. Seed and Spark, if you raise 80%, you get a green light, and then they give you whatever the 80% that you raise.
Oh, good.
Spark is very, they're here for the filmmakers. So yeah, you can find all of that on the Braless Cowboy Instagram. And like I said, it goes until August 21st. So if you got $10, we would be most grateful for it.
Yes, and I think it's worth an investment in filmmaking. I always tell people it's really important because we're in a time where we're living in a very frightening time in a lot of ways, and so we have to. A lot of the things we could do is to make art, to let our voices be heard, and to support queer voices because they're being terrorized. So I think it's important to give money to support them so we can hear their voices. And in the horror community, we have a lot of queer people to support. So let's do it. That's what I say.
Yeah, I agree. And then as far as the future of JODI, the goal, ideally, you know, like the dream goal is eventually do sell it to a distributor. But only because I want to be able to pay my people residuals. That is a personal dream of mine, that a year from now, I'm just like passing out checks to all the homies. Like, oh, look, you guys, we did it. But before that, you know, we're so excited about the local distribution of it. The Midwest, you know, drive-in culture is still alive and well here. The Skyline
Nice.
Drive-In in Shelbyville, Indiana, is one of my most favorite places in the whole world. We have some cool
Okay.
independent cinemas here. We finally got our own Alamo Draft House, so we're definitely doing theatrical releases. And then, we've also been discussing smaller venue releases where we can do fun. Like, I got samples of these scratch and sniff stickers because I would love to do an Odorama screening.
Yes.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, you mentioned earlier, like, people, like filmmakers that kind of have their same people that they work with. John Waters,
Yeah.
since I was a little
Oh, yeah.
girl, my fucking dude, he's my everything. So that's what I've been working on this last year, is kind of like making my own Dreamlanders here in Indianapolis. So yeah, like doing 4D immersive screenings and the odoramas, and we have the band, so we can do like a live band sort of combo thing with the screening. So before before we sell out, which again I'm okay with, because that means I get to hand out residual checks to all the homies. So before we sell out, we're going to do some fun local stuff, maybe even take it on the road regionally. That would be fun.
That's so cool. I
what
love
we're
that.
aiming
And
for.
I love like turning movies into an experience too, in a lot of ways. Like, because I'm involved with some groups where they ask the question, like, how do we get people to go back into movie theater and watch movies and enjoy it in there? And what we found is that smaller kind of niche events has brought them back in. Like, let's go back to the 50s with Odorama, Smell-O-Vision, things like
Yes.
this. And I love that so much. And let's bring back the drive-ins in places where they don't exist anymore. They literally just shut down the one here in Memphis.
Oh, buddy, that's a
Yeah, it
bummer.
sucked.
You got to
Yeah,
come on up
it's
to Indy.
sad.
There's also one in Indianapolis called the Tibbs Drive-In, and that one's multi-screen. The owners of it are so great, though. They employ a lot of queer and trans people, and that's out
Oh,
on the
okay, cool.
yeah, it's out on the west side, like near the racetrack. And it's phenomenal. The one Skyline Drive-In in Shelbyville, it's one screen in the middle of a cornfield with like the
Oh,
best concession stand, like a vintage pinball arcade.
oh,
And
that's crazy.
they do some fun, like Monster Movie Fest. They do, different weekend events. You can camp there, so they'll play movies from sundown to sunup, and you just stay all night. And they also host a guy in town. Well, now it's Sammy Terry's son, but back in the day, Indianapolis Cable Access TV had their own horror host named Sammy Terry. So Sammy Terry
Love
Jr.
that.
Yeah, we love Sammy Terry. So he does special screenings and shows there. So it's one, again, Indiana, I think I know Indiana has a reputation, and people have big opinions about it because our politics fucking suck, but that is not reflective of the people or art. It is one of the gayest, most unusual and original places that I've ever been. And I've been a lot of places. And part of that is that our drive-in culture stays intact. And DIY art is, well, the only art that we got,
Yeah,
So
I love it. That sounds so cool. You're gonna convince me to come up there. It sounds like.
come on up to it. You got to come up for a screening of JODI.
Oh,
we'll
yeah. Wait.
We'll definitely show it at Skyline at some point. So we'll get you up here, dude.
Anything else? Any final words that you want to say about JODI, about Braless, about any of your wonderful collaborators, or about life in general?
I think we've said it. I'm so grateful for you. Like, we were connected through a common Instagram friend. And dude, you've shown up so hard. Like, you donated to the crowdfund. You were just immediately like amplifying our project, and you've definitely brought good people to us.
Oh, good.
A couple, like, you mentioned AMP, you mentioned Sidekick Production. Yeah. Like, I'm like in touch with, well, not Sidekick, but I'm in touch with AMP now. We're friends on the internet with Sidekick, and you are opening up. You're opening me up to the exact people I want to be open to. So thank you for doing what you do.
And I got more. I'm sending more your way.
Please do, man. I'm here for. I think we've established I'm insane, so I will make so many movies. If you bring me people, I will write them movies.
Yes.
We'll make it the next month. So please do.
Thank you for doing that. And thank you for making outlets for our insanity as well.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being here today. And thank you for making Jodi. And we'll talk again soon on the Horror Mosaic. All right.
I can't
Thank you,
wait.
Karla.
Thank you.